YouTube. So today is going to be a continuation of the baby room's dresser build. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cut the scroll work for the side pieces, and we're going to pocket hole and prep the shelves, all three shelves on both sides for paint. With that said, let's get to it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cut the scroll work in the bottom left and right dresser sides. It's going to be 3 inches in from the edge at a 45-degree angle that goes up 3 inches. All right, so as long as I make marks coming in 3 inches from either side and they come up 3 inches at a 45, it'll be really easy to cut. Normally we would cut these on a bandsaw, but seeing that they're, well, big, what we're going to do instead is I'm going to show you how to cut it with a portable tool called a jigsaw or a saber saw, depending on who you talk to. The other thing too is we're also going to pocket hole the top edge of the dresser, so that will help me pull down the top. And we're going to pocket hole, sand, prep, and fill all of these pieces for painting. All right. So with that said, let's get to it. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to identify of my two side pieces which are the better faces, and I'm going to have them facing out so that I can mark my pocket hole marks. Right? Once those marks have been made, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to secure both of them to this scrap piece of wood, and they'll hold. And what that'll do is it'll hold both of them perfectly in alignment as I'm cutting with these jigsaw or saber saw, whatever you want to call it, when I'm doing my scroll work. What that ensures is that whenever I cut, whatever I do to one board, I'll be doing to the same cut to the other board, creating two perfect pieces. Now again, the reason why I'm going to do 3 and 3 is that it just, the math makes it look really nice. So again, I'm going to only do equal amounts on either side. You could increase or decrease it, but I'm a man, I really do like symmetry. So if I were to cut this in half, the left side would look the same as the right, no matter what angle you approach it from. Again, that's just an aesthetic I like, along with a lot of geometric angles. I'm a big fan of them. So with that said, let's look at the board itself. Now, if there's obvious divots in the board themselves, we want that on the inside, so that automatically makes this side, so I'm going to write a T, so this is the top side, or we can also write it as an F, or the FF, front face. All right, so that's set. I'm going to take a look at this board real quick. I'm looking for any major defects, any major chips or dips. I'm going to say this has got the least, so this is going to be my FF or T, so front face. So on these two FF faces, I'm going to then evenly space my marks for my pocket hole machine. So since the top connecting piece, it is kind of critical that I have evenly spaced pieces, so I'm probably going to do somewhere in the realm of 2-inch spacing or 3-inch spacing, right? But again, the key thing is I want it as close to the edge as I can get. So I'm going to put one about 3/4 away on this side and 3/4 on that side. And what that'll do is that'll ensure the top will never bow off the project. So I got those two marked first. Now I'm going to take my drafting ruler and I'm going to go 3 inches from each mark. All right. Now while I'm doing this, I'm also going to go get my shelf pieces and pocket hole them all at the same time. It's going to save me a lot of work because I have the machine already set up with dust collection, so it's a good idea to do as many of similar procedures with the machine at the same time, just to reduce the amount of work you have to do. So I'm going to go grab the side pieces and do the same thing. that everything's been prepped for pocket holing, I'm going to go through the entire stack, so both sides and shelves, just to make my life a lot easier. So with that said, let's cut to pocket holing. So now that everything's been pocket holed, I'm going to start filling all of the front edges with wood filler and any other cracks on the top surfaces. So not this side, but the other side with wood filler. I'm not going to waste it on the bottom. With that said, this project can be done with other joinery techniques like the Craig jig, the domino, biscuit joiners, dowel joints. This entire project can be done the same exact way if you want to incorporate for yourself. Again, there's nothing really special with the pocket hole. It's just a nice way to fasten things, and I just find a pocket hole machine is just way faster than a Craig jig. But if all you have is a Craig jig, you can easily make this project the same way. So again, I'm not going to waste wood filler on the bottom surfaces, because again, there's going to be no contact. The drawer pieces aren't going to slide on it. I'm going to put more emphasis on the front edge and the top, because again, I want a nice, smooth, and consistent surface. So with that said, let's get to it. So right now, I'm going to use wood filler, and I'm going to fill in gaps in the plywood right now. And again, the wood filler is going to take about 45 minutes, so I'm going to fill all the gaps, just like this one, on the front edges, and let it sit for 45 minutes. So with that said, let's get to it. So the reason why I'm only going to do a 3-inch mark in is because the way I have this secured is that I have the left front edge facing this way, and I have the right front edge facing the opposite way. So if I do different sizes, it's actually going to look really wonky when I unfold this. I could do a consistent number from one side to the other. Now, I might actually bump it up to 4 inches, because that actually looks a little bit better. So I'm just going to change the plans a little bit. So I'm going to make a mark at 4 inches now. Then do the same from the other side, 4 inches. And then 3 inches up. All right, now I'm gonna set my combination square to 45 degrees. And then connect the line. So the scroll work's gonna go up 3 inches, over 4 from the foot. So let's connect that. And there's my mark. Now, since this is screwed together and the top edges are perfectly flush, one thing I'm actually gonna do just before I start is I'm just gonna bump and shave using a track and a circular saw just to make sure these are perfectly flat. I don't want the case to be, what's the word, uneven when I put it together. So I'm just gonna true up this end here because I do notice there's a very slight difference. I might even go as far as jointing this whole assembly together as well, just to make sure it's perfectly square. So with that said, let's get the circular saw out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my jigsaw and I'm going to cut my relief cuts in my scroll work. Now, one additional thing I'm going to try, I'm going to use my square as a guide for my jigsaw when I'm cutting my 45, so I don't have to go back and recut them. So this will give me a nice straight edge to cut along. So with that said, let's get to it. Now that I got my scroll work, I'm just going to clean it up now with a file and a rasp while I have them together perfectly. So that concludes today's video. We pre-finished everything. We got it ready for a fresh coat of primer. With that said, I'll see you guys later.